What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Crimson Productions, my channel. Today we are reacting to two different videos. They are both about conspiracy theories. Personally, when it comes to conspiracy theories, I don't really know for sure what I believe, but I do know that it's really entertaining for me to hear some of these, so hope that you guys find entertainment in it as well. So let's get into it. First one is the creepiest theories about kids movies. Shout out to Screen
It's
Rant.
October, the creepiest time of the year, which is perfect for watching some scary movies, and then hearing a noise in your house and convincing yourself that it's all over. Well, scary movies aren't the only films that can be creepy. There are some pretty dark theories floating around about kids movies that just might freak you out too. Here are the creepiest theories about kids movies. If you're new to Screen Rant, please do consider hitting that subscribe. McAllister from Home Alone is the bell to stay up to date with our videos. Kevin McAllister from Home Alone is a cute kid, except no, he's not, he's terrifying. He uses recordings to scare and threaten people, he's fascinated by his neighbor who he thinks might be a serial killer, and he sets up insane contraptions to severely injure those that he feels need to get punished. And those contraptions are pretty much always triggered by the victims themselves. So what kind of a person would a kid like Kevin grow up to be? Well, a fan theory suggests that the Home Alone movies are actually the origin story of John Kramer, also known as Jigsaw from the Saw movies and the upcoming Jigsaw movie. So what kind of things is Jigsaw into? Well, he uses recordings to scare and threaten people. Although he doesn't kill people himself, he's essentially a serial killer. And he sets up contraptions to severely injure and or kill those that he feels need to get punished. And those contraptions are pretty much always triggered by the victims themselves.
Yo, that just changed my whole childhood. Both of those series were major in my childhood. Saw and Home Alone. That's crazy, though. I mean, obviously they aren't like linked, and like the two production companies didn't mean to link them or have any ulterior motive behind it, but just all the correlation is super insane. And like obviously Kevin was doing it to protect himself. He wasn't just punishing random people who do bad things like Jigsaw, but regardless, it's just really crazy. And like it would make sense that John in Jigsaw is an engineer. It would make sense that Kevin, who's like so good with like these Rube Goldberg machines, that that it would make sense that he would get into that field. I found that one really interesting. That one was really cool.
One of the main storylines in the Toy Story films is that Andy is growing up and the toys have to come to terms with that. You know who hasn't aged at all in those movies? The toys. You're not going to see a toy get older or get sick or die of old age. Unless they get incinerated or physically destroyed somehow, they're pretty much immortal. And it might be tempting to think, oh, that's nice, the toys are going to live forever. Friendship is eternal, that's sweet. But no. I've had nightmares that were much more pleasant than the implications of this. Think about it. The toys will see the humans they love die. The mangled toys from the first movie, they're stuck like that forever. Or imagine being a toy that was left in a box in an attic and forgotten and is still alive in there. It's like being buried alive but not being able to die. And
that was like the worst possible picture he could paint. I could not imagine being buried alive and not being able to die. And I mean, he's obviously right. That's a crazy thought that I've never had. Yeah, that's terrifying. It's a terrifying world that they live in.
What's messed up is that another
crazy
Pixar movie has hinted that this is the case. In WALL-E, which is set in a dystopian future, you can see Rex from Toy Story. Probably still alive and probably very traumatized.
That's crazy.
Nemo is a cute little dude, but a theory floating around, no pun intended, makes him a lot creepier than he seems, in that he's not actually alive. This theory goes that Nemo's egg didn't actually survive the Barracuda attack in the beginning of the first movie, and that he's just a manifestation of Marlin's grief. And we kind of see Marlin go through the stages of grief. Denial, he invents Nemo's egg after the attack. Anger, he gets mad whenever Nemo wanders. Bargaining, he convinces Dory to help and then he learns to tolerate her. Acceptance, he's able to let Nemo be free. Another thing that supports this theory, Nemo is Latin for no one. meaning the title of the movie actually translates to
Finding No One. Yo.
The Emperor's New Groove is the story of the Emperor Cusco, who gets turned into a llama and kind of has to deal with that whole situation. Despite being a llama, Cusco is still able to speak to people in English. And he's the only creature that's able to do that in the movie, except for this little guy.
Bro! Oh my god, how did I not notice that the first time through? Oh my god, so that was a person that got turned into like a fly or whatever that was. I mean, at least that's what he's alluding to, but that would make so much sense cuz like he said, like he's the only non-human creature that could speak English. That's so creepy. So that fly was like a real person that got turned into a fly and just got eaten by a spider, dude. That I'm afraid of spiders and they can't do anything to me but walk on me. Like I just have like 90% of Americans, I just have this crazy irrational fear of spiders for no reason. That's more terrifying than being buried alive and not being able to die, is being eaten alive by a spider that is like 3 times as large as I am. That beats it out. That takes the cake.
The fact that that bug can speak led fans to theorize that Cusco wasn't the only one who got transformed. And Yzma's original plan was to turn Cusco into a flea, which isn't far off from a fly. So it's quite possible that this little guy was actually a human trapped in a fly's body and was murdered by that spider. Creepy. Well, that's it for today's quick list. Let us know in the comment section what you think of these theories, and if you know of any other creepy theories about kids' movies.
Wow. Super creepy. Super, super, super creepy. The next video is from Watch Mojo. Crazy big YouTube account. They basically just like rank things a lot and like they do top 10. So this is top 10 crazy celebrity conspiracy theories. I skipped to number 5 in order to make sure that this video doesn't, get too long, and the first 5 were not the best, so here we are at number 5.
Is immortal. The entertainment industry is full of people that don't look their age, or act their age for that matter. Given how much musical artist Lorde accomplished before even turning 21, one theory suggests that she's actually in her 40s. And we'll never be royal.
How are you going to say that this girl is 40 years old? 40? And imagine being a 20-year-old female and going online and having all these crazy people who've never accomplished anything in life say that you're 40 years old because you have. I'm not a crazy Lorde fan. This is probably one of the only 3 songs that I know from her ever. But how are you going to look at this girl and say that she's 40? That's rude, first of all. Second of all, she doesn't look 40. And third of all, I think, come on. Like, what does it matter how much she's accomplished? Like, so? Who cares? Like, Bill Gates is like 740 then? Like, that doesn't make sense.
An even crazier conspiracy asserts that actor Keanu Reeves is an immortal being.
That's honestly less crazy because I am a huge Keanu Reeves fan. I think that he is literally the second coming of Christ. I think that he is essentially better than every other human being besides him on Earth combined. So yeah, I believe that he is immortal. That makes a lot of sense, actually, more sense than any of the other theories thus far. He is a very special human being. He is the sweetest human being alive. He has reached a level of enlightenment that could only come with an infinite amount of time on this earth. I totally believe this one. She doesn't even have to give me any more details. I'm buying in. Keanu Reeves is immortal. That makes complete sense. It's all coming together now.
The years have certainly been kind to Reeves, as he's shown little age throughout almost 3 decades in film.
He's gorgeous.
The plot only thickens when you study portraits and pictures of several figures throughout history that look just like Reeves.
He's hotter than
It's
that.
almost as if he has a time machine right out of Bill and Ted. Either that, or Keanu really is the one.
Okie dokie.
Number 4. Michael Jackson's chemical castration. The king of pop was no stranger to conspiracy theories, but this one is by far the craziest and most disturbing. Following Jackson's death, his physician, Conrad Murray, was convicted of involuntary manslaughter. Murray went on to write a tell-all book in which he claimed Jackson was chemically castrated as a child. According to Murray, MJ's testes were intact, but the singer received injections to maintain his higher-pitched voice. This wasn't the first time such an accusation had been made, as Professor Alain Branchereau previously wrote that Jackson had been castrated to combat his acne.
What's the problem?
Number 3.
I don't really have anything to say about that one. That was a little bit too sciencey for me. To say that he was chemically castrated, it's whatever. I feel like, it's something that happens sometimes. It's not like the craziest conspiracy theory. His voice was pretty high for a dude. I don't know. Got nothing to say about that one.
Stevie Wonder isn't blind.
Stevie can see. Stevie can see. It's just an act.
Outside of maybe Ray Charles, Stevie Wonder is arguably the most recognizable blind musician who ever lived. This theory insists that Wonder was never visually impaired, and has been faking his disability for decades.
Personally, the piano and the singing, I told you how I feel about singing. I ain't impressed. You want to impress me? Take the wheel for a little while.
Many have supported the
That was funny. That was really, really good. I don't really know what he would gain from this. Maybe besides, it being more impressive. Obviously, it's more impressive to, play the piano when you're blind than when you could see. But, I don't see how it would be worth it to pretend that you're blind so that it's slightly more impressive than, you have to pretend that you're blind for the rest of your entire life. I don't know. But what I do know is that if I ever see Stevie, I'm pulling out my phone, I'm recording, and I'm doing a quick little, I'm trying to get him to flinch. Because that footage TMZ would be knocking my door down for that, first of all. That's the first thing I would do. Second thing I would do is, I feel like people might do that to him a lot. So I would switch up my tactics. I'd keep a tennis ball with me wherever I went, in case if I run into Stevie Wonder. Then, when I see him, I, shake, say hello, whatever, and then I throw it at his face, and if he catches it, then he's not blind. If he, tries to swat it out of the way, if he flinches, again, he's not blind. If it hits him in the face, then I am a douchebag. But it's honest work. It's the hero that we need, not the hero that we want, to get to the bottom of this. Can Stevie Wonder see? I think no. I think he cannot see. I think he's blind. But I've heard crazier theories.
Conspiracy, including sports journalist Bomani Jones, although the so-called proof is pretty thin. For example, it's been argued that Wonder can't be blind because he attends basketball games. Wonder also once caught a falling mic stand, and reportedly strangled Boy George in a playful manner. Just because someone's blind doesn't mean they're completely oblivious of their surroundings, though, so it's kinda hard not to roll one's eyes at these accusations. Number 2. Avril Lavigne died and was replaced. When it comes to death rumors, Avril Lavigne is one celebrity that the internet simply will not leave alone. It's been widely speculated that the singer-songwriter committed suicide back in 2003, and her record company substituted her with Melissa Vandella, who is either a doppelganger or a clone. The web is littered with before and after photos that compare Avril and Melissa. The song Slipped Away also supposedly alludes to Avril's death, particularly the lyric, "The day you slipped away was the day I found it won't be the same."
All I gotta say about this one is I've obviously heard about this one before. This theory is very popular. I don't really, I don't really care about it, to be honest. I I don't think that if she was dead, her doppelganger or clone would write a song including, hints that the original was dead. I don't think that the label who would be behind it, because they'd have the most to profit from, replacing her or keeping her alive, after post-mortem after death. I don't think the label would let the doppelganger or clone release a song that had hints, towards her death in it. So I don't think you could use, the lyrics against her, really. That doesn't make sense to me, is all I'm saying. So this one, heard about it before. I don't really buy into it, honestly.
This conspiracy reportedly originated from a Brazilian fan page and went on to spread like wildfire. It might finally be time to let the theory die, however. Number 1. Katy Perry is JonBenet Ramsey. Who killed JonBenet Ramsey?
He went to the basement first, where, of course, he finds his daughter's body.
Well, according to some, the 6-year-old...
Bro, that looks just like her. Oh my god.
According to some, the 6-year-old...
That looks just like a baby Katy Perry. That looks just like a baby Katy Perry. The only thing I will say is, I think JonBenet Ramsey was in I think she died in 97, 96 maybe. And she was obviously still a kid. I think Katy Perry is older than that. I don't think that the timelines match up. I think Katy Perry is much older than that, because that would mean JonBenet would be born in 1990. There's no way Katy Perry was born in 1990.
World beauty pageant queen wasn't murdered at all. Instead, her death was merely a hoax, and she grew up to become pop star Katy Perry. The theory is largely based on the physical similarities between Ramsey and Perry.
They look exactly alike, 100%, yes.
As well as their parents. Of course, there are several gaping holes in this conspiracy, like how Perry was born almost 6 years before Ramsey, not to mention the complete lack of motive or, a point.
Right, that's what I said.
Honestly, the whole thing just sounds like a really morbid version of Jim.
I remember how it all began, with the unexpected death of my father.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these.
So that's it. One of my favorite YouTubers to watch for conspiracy theories is Shane Dawson. I've seen all of his videos. He goes in, we're obviously on quarantine. If you get really bored and you want some background noise, I would definitely check out his videos. They're extremely interesting. I would say better than these, honestly. His on 9/11 and was just insane. I know that obviously that's very popular theory. Was that 9/11 was planned and stuff, but his videos, he just has an interesting way of going about it. So I really like him. Shane Dawson, give him a shot if you're bored enough. This is Watch Mojo. They rank a lot of stuff, so give them a subscription. And I forgot what the other one was that had the kid movies on it, but yeah, shout out to all these people making these videos for us to react to. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know down below what you guys want to see next. Let me know what you guys think about some of these. Yeah, that's basically it. See ya.